Hi, today we'll be going over some of the best practices in for trading and settlements in the MISO and SPP markets. The objective of today's presentation is to learn the best practices for your front office, and this is all your bids and offers, bilaterals, and operations activities. Also to learn the best practices for your back office, and this would be all your accounting and settlements office. And then finally, to learn how nMarket can help in both front office and back office. Although you will not need nMarket to implement all of the best practices we will review, we will show you how you can utilize nMarket to make your activities streamlined and baked into your company's culture. Today's agenda will cover your business functions, and we'll review your current business functions and business processes. Next, we'll cover an nMarket functional solution, and we'll review the best business practices and processes and how nMarket can improve those. After that, we'll go into a solution automation, and we'll review how nMarket can automate your business processes. And finally, we'll go over some of the different service delivery methods available with nMarket. So for your business functions, so when we start talking about business functions and your business processes, your front office, generally you'll come in and create bids and offers, you'll create schedules and balance your position, and then you'll review your bid performance to make better offers. In the back office, in a typical day, you'll pull your awards, your prices, maybe look at your meter data, and then shadow settle the charge types and your settlement statement, and then close the books before the end of the month. How nMarket can help improve those functions is that it can help you be faster. So it's easier to create bids, and you have multiple input capabilities. There's an automation of tasks as well, so you can just have tasks downloaded and many tasks automated. It's agile, so it's up to date with the ISO. So, we have a team of product managers and business analysts that keep up to date with the ISOs. And then finally, you'll be informed. You'll have customizable reports and scheduled ISO loads and reporting. So you'll have different ways of accessing all the data that the ISO publishes. So let's start with a little bit of background before we jump into the functional solution. As Dana mentioned at the top of the meeting, my name is Ashish Tripathi. I was born in Houston, Texas. However, my father is from a city called Varanasi in India. And we would travel there every summer to visit my grandparents. Varanasi is one of the busiest cities in India. It is beautiful and lays on the bank of the life river of India, the Ganga. Because of its proximity to the river, the city is always changing with the current and the flooding of the river. It has a long religious history and is location of one of the most prestigious technical colleges, so it's full of both spiritual and technical potential. Traveling around Varanasi can be difficult. It's hard to navigate, as you can see from the picture on the left-hand side. The roads can be very narrow. There are many connections and routes around the city. Sometimes an alleyway can be the fastest route. So you really need to know the city and see, as you can see from the picture on the right, that you may have to contend with some unexpected friends that you face on the road there. My personal way of traveling, in my preferred method of travel, is a bicycle rickshaw. It's fast. It's much faster than a car, or a three-wheel motorcycle, or tempo, because oftentimes the roads are too small for big cars. The rickshaw is also agile. Because it's a bicycle and because the streets flood often, it's really better to have a method of travel that doesn't utilize an engine, as it won't get flooded. But the main reason that I picked the rickshaw is right here. It's the driver's mind. He knows not to travel on the main road at noon, since Ramesh takes his food truck across the road every day at 12 noon. This causes congestion that Google Maps or Waze cannot predict. but the rickshaw driver will help me navigate anywhere in the city quickly and efficiently. Medical PET scans and fMRIs of taxi drivers in England show that there's a large abundance of neurons in the hippocampus. This is the area of the brain used for spatial reasoning, and because of their use of these facilities time and time again, their brains have changed structurally to allow more emphasis in this area. So you may be asking yourself, what does any of this have to do with trading or settlements in the ISOs? Well, when I first got into the industry 8 years ago and started interacting with the ISOs and the RTOs, I found a lot of similarities between Varanasi and the ISOs in North America. The ISO system is beautiful. This may be my electrical engineer nerdiness speaking here, but the system is amazing, and we should all feel proud that we work for a system that provides reliable energy to millions of customers. With its beauty, it's constantly changing as weather and seasonal changes increase and decrease the demand. And it's full of potential as the ISOs try to create an ever more reliable and efficient marketplace. There are many systems that need to be connected to. You have your FTRs and your TCRs, your settlement systems, your day-ahead and real-time systems for prices and awards, notifications for dispatch, and each system has its own XML specification and security mechanisms. So you need to really know how to get access to the ISO. Then when I started working for ABB, I found really my preferred method of traversing the ISOs is nMarket. There's definitely many similarities between nMarket and the rickshaw driver and the bicycle rickshaw. nMarket is fast. You can make offers very quickly and pre-populate operation parameters. It's agile. nMarket has a team of advisors, business analysts, and product managers that keep up to date with the ISO and follow it for changes. And it's informed. It will keep you, not only will you have the history of the nMarket staff here of developers, you also are able to pull data from multiple sources in real time to provide information for analysis and determining the best course of action. nMarket has been in the market for 17 years. We have software for all of the North American ISOs, and we have more than 40 customers and 150 installations. Our support staff is here in Sugar Land, Texas, in our application center, and I'm sure that many of the developers' brains here have also changed structurally for understanding and interfacing with the ISOs because of their amount of time they spent on the market. And not only with nMarket, but ABB interacts with the ISOs as a whole. We have actually provided many of the ISOs themselves with their own settlement software as well as planning and SCADA, as you can see from this slide here. The ABB organization has a wealth of information about the ISOs, and we essentially live and breathe this industry. So as an overview for nMarket, you have transaction management. You can see, you can execute your bids and offers in one place before submitting the ISOs and manage your position. You have interface automation. So no more downloading prices or awards from the portal, and you can schedule your submits so you never miss a deadline. You also have market intelligence, customizable reports so you can create your own front office trading reports and access to all the ISOs in one interface. You also have shadow settlement. You can use multiple sources for shadow settlements and close your books early, so there's no need to wait until trade day 7 to be able to close. And this is really where nMarket excels, is in our shadow estimate capabilities in terms of accuracy and the breadth and width of, or depth of all the different charge types we cover. So let's go over the functional solution for nMarket has to offer, and we'll also review the best practices when creating offers and reviewing settlements. So you may be familiar with our name and possibly our product since we have been on the market for 17 years, but our software has been heavily invested in the last 2 years, and the user experience has had a large overhaul. I have a video demonstration of all these features, but our nMarket SaaS offering has 4 main components. One is a unified portfolio for all types of offers across ISOs. So you can see your whole portfolio at a glance for participants and across ISOs. You have a variety of imports, and then a new addition is the import of Excel and CSV exports, or imports. You have a visual hierarchy of the analysis and settlements. So there's a way to see analysis at a hierarchical view and really be able to see the components easily. And then you have advanced reporting that is customizable and can be produced on a schedule. So to quickly review before we jump into the demo, one of the main things is that you have the multiple ISOs. If you only interact with one ISO, this will be a one-step navigation, but if you have multiple ISOs, you can see them all in one place, so you can get to your bids and offers and see them across both ISOs. All the navigation is one or two steps, so it's easy to traverse the application. You also have a unified configuration, so creating the transaction points, the participants, configuring the scheduler is all in one location. So there's no more having to sync across two portfolios across multiple ISO portals or log into multiple ISO portals to see your configuration. You can also, once you're into your bids and offers, you can also see multiple participants on the same screen. You'll also be able to see all of the different types of offers you've made in a day. So, you know, whether it's an AS offer, an energy offer, virtual demand, you can see them all on the same screen. And then we also have integrated awards in with the offers that you have created. So it's easily to see which awards were, which offers were awarded and which ones performed the best or were selected by the market. So in addition to the UI, we also have other imports available. You have the XML, the web service, and the file listener. So these three give you kind of a way to bring in data and easily integrate data with accounting, trading and risk management, and other analytical software. The UI, again, gives you the capability to enter in one-off data or you can use it for your daily front office needs. But one of the newest features is the capability to import from Excel, and it is an easy two-step fashion. You can import your best offers for a week at a time. Now, before we get into the video demonstrations, let's review some of the best practices. So the first one is to confirm on ISOs after your bid is submitted. So after you've submitted your bid, you want to make sure that the ISO has received it. The next is to review daily awards and determine which bids were selected by the market. The third is to copy awarded bids over for a week and then make edits before submitting. The fourth is a MISO specific. It's to submit your DIR forecast every 10 minutes before the interval, since dispatch is based off of this forecast and it can lead to penalties if the forecast is incorrect. The next is to download your portfolio to make sure it's in the correct state, and this is also for MISO. And for MISO is to look at the ex-ante prices on the trade date. And finally, for both SPP and MISO, to set up notifications to see confirmation is needed for your schedules. And then to download schedule offers and keep track of overrides when they're submitted. So now let's move into the front office demo. So as you can see, you can get to both of your MISO and your SPP. When you start out the querying, you get this query panel, which allows you to see all your different types of offers, and then dive down or down select to the particular offer or time of day or participant you're looking for in the specific window that you're in. I'm going to create some offers today to show the ease and the speed that you can create offers in nMarket. You can go in and start creating offers. I simply select the type of offer, the participant, the transaction point or the asset, and the different types, the different hours of the day, the different types, whether it's day ahead in real time. Then I put in my megawatt curve and I can automatically create the offers easily. If I have default operation parameters, those will also be input for the offer. And then I can go up and easily review the offers as they're there, select which ones I would like to submit, and then press the arrow and submit and get a status back. You can see the status of the offer. You can see the sources. You can see the status has changed to submitted, and so you can see that those offers have been submitted. You can also delete offers as necessary. And here you'll see you have the internal source, but you can also see your different sources. So when it comes from the ISO or NDL, you can do that. You also have the ability to copy very easily your offers over for a week. So once you have your awarded offers, you can easily copy them over for a week. And I'm just showing you here how you can see them now. The offers that have been copied have gone to the next day. And you can easily take those offers and see what you have and then edit them for the rest of the week. You can also export your offers in Excel and then use the same Excel sheet to adjust the offers and import them back in that two-step process that I had mentioned earlier. So in this example, you go in, I've adjusted the megawatts and I've come in now that I've saved the adjusted megawatts. I'm going to select the file, upload it, and you can pick the days that you would like to start, and then you can have the offers go in. You can see your 5 records have been there, and so you can see that very easily you can have the data imported for a different day. The import is also smart enough to know which of your offers were already there and are new or have been updated. So it gives you a couple of different options of importing the data. Again, we also have the ability to use an XML and those different APIs as I mentioned before, so you can go to a specific day here as what I've done and see all your offers that came in maybe from an external system. And you can see the ones that were submitted and the offers that were awarded there with the integrated award. But I know that sometimes when you're going through your offers screen, you may want to change how the data looks. You may want to be able to customize this view to your liking and be able to consume the data in a way that is particular to you or particular to a certain offer. So if you're doing schedule offers, you may not want your shutdown in the MISO case here. So you can easily drag and drop to adjust the columns of how the data is laid out. You can apply your own filters onto the data. And so once you have everything exactly the way you like it, and you have applied the filters as necessary, and you've reviewed it, and you say, yeah, this is looking pretty good, I'm going to save this for my day-ahead offers, you can actually save this grid layout and have it available to you at any time when you want to look at day-ahead, say, schedule offers. So you could save this day-ahead schedule grid layout, and once you save it, it's basically available at that query screen that we had touched on at the beginning. So when you go down, you see down at the layer at the bottom, you have those grid layouts, and you can see there are some other grid layouts that are available. So every time you utilize the grid layout, the way that you had laid out the data is how you'll see it when you come in. So next we have the transactions. So when you go through the transactions, you'll start out again with the query screen as I mentioned before. You can add contracts and schedules. For pure financial contracts and schedules, you can submit them from the nMarket interface in a similar fashion to how they were in the bids and offers. So you can go in here and start entering in your data. You'll have that kind of red highlighting for the minimum set of data that's necessary to create the transaction. And this feature of this red highlight is available on all the UI inputs. So you know at least the minimum amount of data necessary to create either, your bid and offer, or your contract, or your schedule. Once you're there, you can also submit them and you see the status as you had seen on the bids and offers for your contract. So your pure financials can be submitted through nMarket. And for your schedules, you're able to enter those in as well. Again, your financials can be submitted from nMarket. And once you select the contract, it'll pre-populate most of the information here. So then you can go back and select your schedule and put them in and see all the data that's available. Just as in the bids and offers, when you submit, you see the status. But you can also export the data for either the schedules or the contract. So you have an export for either one, and so you can see the specific data. But you also have an ability to export all the data from a query. So all the data that's contained in the page can be exported if you hit that export button off of the query. So as you can see there, in that sense, I was able to get both the contracts and schedules in the same download. I didn't have to do one for each specific. You also have the ability to approve. So if you had a contract or a schedule that needed approval, from the buyer, you could do that within the interface. One of the other features that we have for the contracts and schedules is we have an hourly and we have a 15-minute view for the MISO market. Because you may be wanting to see your data through, or your schedules at a 15-minute level, you can go in and enter them in at a 15-minute level for your imports and exports. For hourly contracts, when you're managing your position, we will just have the hour continue on for all the other time frame. But once you enter in your 15-minute, you can go back and look at it again in an hourly view. After you've entered in the data, you can go back and you see the interval type of hour, whether it was put in an hourly view or a 15-minute interval. And then you can go back and see the data rolled up at an hour, and we'll roll up the data for an hour. So your daily process for your front office would essentially be that you'd have your schedulers download prices. You'd have your schedule download your basically would download your processes, and you'd have all your awards downloaded available for you at the. Your daily process for your front office would be to go in and download the day. You basically create your offers and bids and offers for the day. Then you would go in and determine what you would, which ones you'd like to change and edit them as necessary. You could import them via your via Excel or your other trading and risk management software. Then you could review your awards and then edit your offers as necessary. And then if you were running on your real-time office, you could have your forecast and price reports created in the morning and review your prices and forecasts before creating your offers or your schedules. All right, so let's start looking at settlement features and some of the settlement best practices. So first, you have a hierarchical layout of the charge types and the components. And so you have a relationship of each of the charge types and the components that make up each of the charge types. So it's very easy to see which components created and the charge types and how the estimate values from nMarket and the ISOs compare. There's also a configurable tolerance that you can set for a percentage difference or an amount difference. And you also have a full search across all of the components and all of the charge types. So you can easily focus on one transaction, asset, or point. You have the settlements compare, so you can compare multiple days and see which ones you have to go through. And you can also export to Excel all of the data for further analysis. You also have advanced reporting, so you have customizable reports and outbound APIs. So you have, so you can select your desired fields for your reports and see which ones are necessary. And you can save your custom queries and save your reports onto the queries that are necessary. So let's look at some of the best practices for back office and for settlements. So first is to submit your 5-minute meter data. The next is to load 5-minute level real-time prices or prices. The next is to download your GIR forecast hourly, and this is for MISO. Also download your NDL offers every hour to be able to determine if the offer was changed before the notification deadline. This is also from ISO. The next is to load search contracts every trade day +3 to ensure that if the contracts were changed that you have the latest information. The next is to download dispatch information to see if dispatch instructions or notifications were missed. So download the actual report rather than just wait for them. The next is to use internal sources of offers and meter data to compare with the ISOs and close the books early. And the next is to download the IMM and mitigated data to ensure proper assignment of the make-whole payment charges. So now with the best practices above that we reviewed for nMarket, you can easily submit your 5-minute data and your meter data very easily. So here's kind of a little bit of a demo of what you can see. So you can go in and have your data come in, say from your MV90 system. Then you can go in and edit as necessary any of the readings that you want to submit to either MISO or SPP. And the submit is a similar fashion to the bids and offers. Again, you can adjust the way that you view any of the data just like bids and offers. And here for meter data, we also have a wizard when you're entering the data so that it's easier to enter in, all the different meter data readings so you don't have to go back and, enter them in for every single interval. You can also go and select 2 different types of sources of meter data and do a comparison. So that gives you the ability to compare very easily. And just as in the meter data, you can also look at your price data as well and enter in your price data with the wizard as well. So that gives you a couple of ways to kind of get the information available for, prices or meter data. So you can adjust prices, you can adjust meter data very easily, and you can export all this data out to Excel in the same fashion that you could do with your front office bids and your schedules. So now we're going to really see what sets nMarket apart from other pieces in the market, or what can really help you is the settlements part. So you can query a large span of data, so you can see all your settlements for a month or longer and see all the settlement estimates and compare them to, different settlement types or the different settlement publications. And then you can easily see which the highlighted fields where you see a difference or discrepancy. You can also see more than just 2. You can compare more than 2. So if you wanted to compare different participants or different days of the month, you're also able to see that to kind of get a better feel for your portfolio and how it's performing from a settlements perspective. You can export all this data out to Excel for further analysis, and you can also, when you go back and you're doing 2 settlement statements, you can dive down deeper with the hierarchy and see all the different components and see actually where the differences lie for each of the components. So you can see here we've gone down into 3 levels of your day-ahead market administration amount. Now these all these data points here are, fabricated for the demo, but you can see the real transaction points here that, are in the model, and you can filter on those transaction points to see at a greater level where did you have discrepancies between, say, an estimate or two different versions of the settlement statements. So you're able to go in there and see where the discrepancies lie from the filters. You can also go in, and as you are doing your analysis, you have the ability to come in and mark certain charge hours are ready for dispute and create a comment. So you can go in there and create a comment of why you want to create a dispute, and this data can be easily exported and tracked and sent to MISO through the nMarket application. You can also have, if you have, a workout structure or a settlement structure where you can review settlements and see, for different analysts can come in and see, if there is a discrepancy or a difference in the tolerances, you can mark that. Again, as I mentioned before, you do have a full search. So let's say in the analysis, I find that two of the charges are really off, and it looks like maybe a couple of the components are off, so I may want to see the total energy, or maybe my, one of my schedules looks like it may be out. So I can focus on particular components and particular transaction points so that I can see which transaction points were necessary, and then get really kind of a report and look through all of the charge types to see if maybe there were discrepancies across those transaction points or assets across the charges, so maybe not, or across the components, and really get an analysis of what happened, because maybe that particular asset was having some sort of maintenance that day. So it really gives you the ability to see a lot of different things at once and see a lot of different data in one screen. Again, so although you have the ability to export from Excel for all those screens that we had shown earlier, you may also want to be able to have a way to create reports ad hoc. So nMarket has the capability to set up your own reports and basically have a pre-configured set of reports that you can look at every day. When you first start out in the view builder, the in-app reporting, we have some set of reports that are available just out of the box. So you have these sets of reports that are available and these fields that are in the report. And you can select which fields you'd like to see, which columns you'd like to see, and you may not be interested in config 1 or config 2, so you can move them back and say that, oh, these are the only ones that are really important to me, and these are the ones that I want to see every day. So you can kind of go in and see your report. You can also go in and filter on all the different fields that you have selected. So once you have your fields kind of figured out, you can go in and say, oh, I want to only look at one particular day. Preview the data, come in here and say, this is looking okay, and this data is looking all right. It may be worthwhile to have as a report, but, actually I don't really like the way that auction name is in here. Maybe I don't need that, or maybe I need to move the action required over. You can adjust to how you want the data to look and which columns you really need so that you can export it and have it to view later, or do some more analysis later. But you can also go back, and then once you're in the view builder, so like once you have the export, you can do some further analysis and see it in Excel. But you may also want and here I'm just opening up the data in Excel. But you may want to adjust the view builder. And so again, I was saying, oh, auction name didn't really seem like it was necessary, so I'm taking it out. And now I'm going to save this report and have, AT, awards. So now every time I want to look at this report or run this report, it's available to me under this custom views on the left. And so I'm able to run it every time and then see it come out. I can also, as I touched on before, the automation is really key here, but you can go to your scheduler, your job scheduler, and set up this report to run on a daily basis. So I can set up a name, I can set up some tasks, and easily have this report available to me and run every day as necessary. And I can put an offset so that it'll run every day and basically be available to me when I come in the morning. So it's an easy way for settlements work, where your daily process would basically, you'd have the schedulers download the prices, your offers, your schedules, your meter data. You could even set up the scheduler to submit your meter data. You have any reports would indicate if the data is complete. You know, you'd ensure all your prices and your meter data is available. You have the scheduler create estimates and compare them to settlements on your +7 days or +14 days. And then basically you just come in and you review the settlements that are out of tolerance and mark them as reviewed or create a dispute if necessary. So at the end of that reporting, we kind of saw some of the scheduler capabilities, but let's go over all of the end market automation and integration. So these are kind of the solution automation that's available. So import, you have a common UI import interface. We also have some extended features for file listeners. So you have a file listener where you can basically just drop files in and for your interface or your import. And then as long as they're in the right format, they'll get imported into nMarket. And for our SaaS, we'll actually have the file listener convert those messages to a web service as the third person part, or you could just do a web service directly if necessary. For export, you have customizable exports and reporting, which we've just gone over in kind of detail, as well as the CSV and Excel export from all those pages. And then you also have the customizable outbound API. So the same mechanism we use to create the report can also be used to create an XML outbound API as well, so you can select which columns are important to you or which fields are important to you and have those go out to any outbound system which you're interacting with. You also have scheduled and batch processing. So you have importing, so all your ISO loads, external systems, meter data, price estimates, all is available there. You have the data exporting, so your outbound APIs, again, can be run on a schedule, so, as necessary, your settlements results. And then you have your custom task and your reporting. So you can have custom tasks in the scheduler run as well, and then you can just, have your reports that you've created or your custom views created run on a schedule as well. Now, there's a couple of different solution delivery methods for nMarket as well. nMarket, MISO, and SPP are available on-premise with all the features that we just reviewed. However, this year we're able to offer nMarket as software as a solution platform. So let's review some of the software as a solution or SaaS versus the on-premise. So some examples of SaaS and Facebook and Salesforce, and then in some degree the SPP and the Midwest portal or the MISO portal are also versions of SaaS. So in your personal life you'd have Facebook and Salesforce, and then in business in your personal life you have Facebook, and then in business you'd have Salesforce and the portals. And again, just as you are concerned with your personal data and business data, you might start getting concerned about security. You don't want, your own personal pictures available for just everyone, and Salesforce and your ISO portals contain some of the most business critical data that could affect your competitiveness. So ABB has partnered with Microsoft to Azure to ensure the highest quality and security. We've been working with Microsoft in our offices and following their security processes. So we are working to ensure that when we integrate to the ISOs that data is secure. And not only that, but we can also utilize your company's Active Directory to allow a single sign-on for you for all of your ISOs. So not only will you get a high quality of security, but you'll also get convenience of a single sign-on. Now, if we look back at the rickshaw analogy with our SaaS offering, for nMarket, we really just made it jet fast with SaaS. I mean, it's like if we took, your rickshaw and just basically put a new, a new motorcycle on instead of just a bicycle. And obviously, I'm not the best, the world's greatest graphic artist. This is just, but you get the idea here. So the advantages of SaaS to on-premise is you have a low time to start use. So if you want nMarket, we can now provide it to you in just a couple of days with SaaS, and you can start working with it. The next is that you have a reduced IT cost and maintenance. So part of the reason that I take a rickshaw in India is that it's affordable. And, you may have liked the capabilities of nMarket before, but now we can really offer it at a much more affordable price, as you won't need your own databases or application server or even an Oracle license to run the application. Also, it avails to you as a customer easier training on the product, on the nMarket product, because we can utilize your actual assets and your actual business processes as we set up and train on your actual system. And since we maintain the system 24/7, we have a monitoring and proactive responses to issues. Plus, you're always up to date with the ISOs, so there's no more having to schedule a propagation of releases from your dev to QA and then to prod. And finally, I have this picture here as kind of a final note. This is my actual rickshaw driver that I use in Varanasi, named Hierarchal. And here I am at 7 years old. I still use Hierarchal when I return to Varanasi. And as you can see here, we're more than just a business relation, but we also have a personal relationship. At ABB, we hope to cultivate a personal relationship with our customers as well. And probably the best practice for your business operations would be to partner with your solution provider. You need to make sure that your solution providers understand your priorities and that you understand their priorities as well, and you are aligned in both of them. So thank you for attending. I'm now ready for questions, and we can kind of start going over them.
Okay, so we did have a couple of questions come in. The first is, MISO is having a new change for real-time offer overrides, and we're wondering if nMarket can handle this new capability.
Yes, nMarket can handle the new override capability. We have created a new UI for that capability to have the overrides, and we actually do have a customer that's in the QA testing for us right now on the SaaS solution and the SaaS offering.
Okay. One more question we have so far. If you do have questions, please submit them through the chat or the Q&A window. The next question is, I understand that ABB has other software applicable to MISO and SPP. Are these other solutions tightly integrated to nMarket?
Yes, ABB's energy portfolio management solution includes some portfolio optimization, transmission planning and forecasting for your long-term and your short-term planning, and all of which is fully integrated and then provide high value to the market participants. So you can kind of get the full scope of optimizing your bids and offers, and then coming back into your settlements and making sure all that is available as well. I guess one other note is we will be at the MISO Market Symposium on August 18th and 19th, and we will have a solution showcase there. So I will be there actually showcasing the nMarket SaaS solution as well and demoing that there. So please stop by if you're attending the MISO Market Symposium and come see me at the booth. Just thanks everyone for attending, and I hope to hear from you soon.